what has worked for me, a practical thing that's worked for me is that anytime I go to a venue where live music is offered, take a chance on yourself and introduce yourself to the band and just say, hey, I'm a singer or I'm a guitar player or I do this special cool thing, would it be okay if I sat in with you? Now, that's kind of a touchy subject with some bands. Some bands or the venue itself doesn't allow for liability reasons. They may not allow other people up on stage. But if it's a casual joint, I'd say take advantage of every opportunity you have to sit in with other groups, because it exposes you to a wider audience than you would have ordinarily been exposed to. It allows, it's kind of like an impromptu audition. You never know if somebody on stage is like, oh, so glad I met this girl because, so-and-so is going on vacation next week and we still don't have a sub or whatever. And her sound or her skill set is perfect for what we're doing. You never know how those pieces come together. And if not now, a year from now, like when I first got into town here in Vegas, 6-8 months later, I was playing at the Bellagio, not bad for a first gig, in an acid jazz lounge that I had no idea, what acid jazz was all about. So you just never know how things come around. So I would say, number one, always be ready to sit in, have a few songs in your mind, your go-to things that really help you shine, or be willing to adapt to whatever the group. Is it a country group? Do you have something like that? As you're there sitting in the crowd, be thinking of how, if they did call me up, hey, I just want to say hi to so-and-so in the house. We're a visitor from Hawaii in the house, and she says she's a singer. What do you guys think? Do you want to hear her? Have some stuff ready, because it's, when you get on stage, you're like, what do you want to do? You don't want to just sit there and be like, I don't know. Well, what do you know? What do you know? What do you know? So know your keys, for songs. Have just an arsenal ready that you can pick from. Be fearless about self-promotion. These are the days of self-promotion. It wasn't like that, when we were getting started. I mean, or when I was getting started, we're about the same age, so that's why I say that. And I remember back in the day when, if I wanted to learn a song, like my very first pro gig was a Steely Dan, cover band. Steely Dan cover band. Oh, my first real pro gig, yeah. And back in those days, you couldn't just go online and check out, Hey 19. You had to go to the store, find the CD or the album, and buy it, learn it that way. And you couldn't really, it was so much harder then. But where I'm going with this is that technology is your friend. Just self-promotion, you've got to be all about it. You've got to be fearless and shameless about, and aggressive. I'll tell you, as a booking agent, I get so many random cold calls from people who either stopped at the concierge desk at a property and they say, hey, I love this property. I'm interested in being booked here. I have a band. We do this. Can you send an email to whoever makes the decisions? I get bombarded every day with that kind of stuff. But I tell you what, I read it all and I sift through it all. And if it's a good fit, I try to make it work. I try to be an advocate for up and comers, or even those that are well developed, so have your stuff ready, use technology as your friend, be willing to sit in every chance you get, go and ask them if it's okay. The worst they're going to say is no, and develop your online presence, because when you come in with a little social networking weight, that's huge, I have a following of, whatever. If you have original music, have it out there. I mean, it's just, this day and age, I think technology is the musician's friend. I remember when LimeWire and stuff was first coming out, it began to make things so much easier to learn material. But nowadays, you can do your own record iPhone, just demos. And that's another thing too, demos. Like the first thing I want to know is, send me your stuff. Do you have your EPK together? Can I see a promo shot of you? Like maybe in a couple different outfits, like a corporate look, a lounge look. Do you have something that I can, even if it's in your living room and it's just you have your iPhone on a stand, I need to see what your presentational style is. I want to get a feeling for vibe, because there's a big difference between, I book people now that have talent, but I'm also looking for what I call sparkle, and it's, some people call it an it factor. You don't have to be the next Taylor Swift, but I do want to see something that's going to set you slightly apart from 12 other girls that sing and play guitar. What is special about you? Because I have X amount of shifts in X amount of venues, and they're competitive, and you are in Vegas now, and I want to give you that work, but you got to show me that you can beat out these other people, and so I'm looking for sparkle. I'm looking for something that's special about you, and it doesn't have to be expensive clothes or something. It just has to be an authenticity and perhaps a new take on how you do a song, or I know in the first 30 seconds if I want to book you. And if you've hooked me with your sound, it's sound. It's, what is your tone like? If you've hooked me with your voice and your whatever you're doing, whether it's keys or then I will go and look through the rest of your file. So I'd say invest in some good tools. You don't have to spend a lot of money, like I said. I've booked people off of very, very casual clips, but I definitely need to see promo. So make technology your friend. Sit in as often as you can. Exercise networking. Make it a point every week to reach out to people you don't know, even cold calling, and don't think to yourself, I'm going to get lost in the shuffle. It's a big casino. Yeah, but you know what? I get those emails every day, and they matter. So, and I think because I come from the talent end of the street, I really want to be an advocate for other people, and I want to see them succeed. So I want to help understand their product and fit them with the best venue so that everyone's happy. The house is happy, the entertainer is having a great time on the gig, and that really translates to the crowd and the overall experience.